Okay, so nobody showed up. That's fine. I'm going to smoke my weed and record something anyway. Um, I can talk for a really long time. I am certain because I've done it before when I was really mad about things. Um, but okay, let me smoke my weed. I'm in my car where someone could have joined me, um, but no one did. And it needs to be someone who I don't know because that will be interesting. Everyone I know, I sort of okay. Slight restart. There was like a guy looking at me because I have my window down. I think he could hear me talking. And he's like standing there, and I looked at him, and then he moved. So anyway, I smoked it, and I put my window up. So now probably nobody can hear me. Yeah. So I'm not gonna look at the notes I wrote. I hate looking at things on a phone screen. It's so tiny. Um. So yeah, the big question is, how did we get here? And it's a difficult question because you can look at how we got to Trump, and you can look at how we got to the other thing, and it's like, really, these two things both happened at the same time. Isn't that like too much? But then you're sort of inclined to say, well, they must be related. And they kind of are, but they're kind of not. Um, that is to say, related in that they caused each other. But I, well, obviously, I think they are related in that they share a common origin, which is the dramatic transformation of human interpersonal life. Um, you know, the internet and everything is the common factor, the thing that happened before these things happened. It's obviously a pretty big deal, um, the internet. How interesting is this? But, I think we just really haven't developed, you know, new ways to be with all of it's very fascinating and new. We're sort of right now, I think, in the period where they invented phones and everyone was like, that's so cool. And I sat in the house talking on the phone because it was so cool. I don't know, maybe not. I mean, maybe they kept talking on the phone that much because people like talking on the phone. Whatever. Um, but yeah, well, this is stupid. This is what it says. Um, but anyway, that's obviously key to how we got here. It's very troubling because did general sanity, reasonability, decency, one might say, did this depend not on grand ideas, people having grand ideas, and so holding them in the face of things generally, but these sort of small everyday, were we all getting isolated? I mean, it's sort of like a Lord of the Flies thing, where we all, uh, you know, if we get isolated, as people are now, did they just go nuts? What had happened to you? Am I? I mean, look at the way I've been posting. Um, you know, People are like, "Oh, that's crazy," um, but it doesn't really take me. It doesn't take me very long, um, but the problem is, it does make me go crazy. like, well, it's just sort of, I do it all day and then just completely be like, I can't even, and then just not do it at all for months and months. And I don't think that's um, a good approach. I mean, I feel like I've made more progress when I've only spoken up on a few things or something like that. And I've stuck to that for some time on some things, but I don't know. You can't ignore it. These things are very big. Um, the problems. Obviously, we just saw something big um, um, today. Well, technically yesterday, September 10th, 2025. Um, yeah, this is certainly more assassination than I feel like we've seen um, in the years that I've been alive, and I'm 31. Um, there, Gabby Giffords, somebody tried to assassinate her, but it wasn't an operation like this, or like you know, Tom Crooks. Um, it was more of the like when they killed like Chester Arthur kind of variety. Um, uh, I forget who did that. Charlie Guiteau shot down Mr. Garfield. But anyway, um, right. That's scary. Um, so why is it happening? I don't know. I mean, things are pretty maddening. Obviously the question of if being isolated as we are drives people nuts. Then people are going, nuts at a pretty rapid rate because it really took off, you know, everybody just being on their phone. It really took off, what, 5 years ago? 10 for some people? It really hasn't been that long. Um, I mean, they've been around for longer than that by a little, but, people kind of, it took a while to fill in every minute of their day with something to do on it, sort of. Um, there's a lot to do on it. But obviously that's, gonna lead to, you know, um, subjecting oneself to things that drive one nuts if one does not, uh, you know, moderate how much they're uh, looking at things and saying things. Um, you know, but it's the idea that okay, well, you should just not engage with things because you go, well, if things are crazy, then you have to deal with them, even if sort of not being able to understand why so many people are crazy makes you feel crazy. And it makes you try crazy things, perhaps. And this is a very difficult question because obviously someone can be crazy and not, you know, it's sort of not, they're not going to be able to tell that actually, no, they are crazy. Um, but, I guess this is why people talk to, each other uh, and, verify their shared sort of world. Whereas, on the internet, even if you're talking to somebody, you're going to have a very different, you know, sort of slice of what you see on the internet. Whereas in real life, if you live next door to somebody or you work with somebody, you see a lot of the same stuff. And you probably talk about it. Versus I'm here in Jersey City and you're wherever, if anyone is listening to this, um, and that's, I have some problems uh, around here that upset me, and you may as well, where you are. Um, but we can't really work together on them. We can't do much of anything. I can't even make you a sandwich. And I make a very good egg sandwich. The grocery store that I live by has the most excellent Kaiser rolls. And I've gotten pretty good at frying eggs, you know. And there's a trick with, anyway, with steam, where you flip the egg and then you put the slice of cheese on it, and then you put a little water in the pan, and then you cover it with foil in like 30 seconds, and it steams off. And then it's delicious. Barbecue sauce, hot sauce. You wrap it in foil, I'm looking forward to breakfast. That's what happens late at night. I'm going to do that for breakfast. I have like 3 days in a row. What was I talking about? Yeah, all the problems. So if somebody would come on this experience with me, here, comfortable in the back seat of my comfortable back seat of my car, in Jersey City, or I could drive anywhere. We could talk about interesting things and try to figure out what caused all the problems and how do we solve them. Why are people stupid, or are we stupid? And I think it's something you should always be trying to figure out. If you feel like you don't agree with people on something, am I stupid or are they stupid? So figuring out who's stupid is that, I guess stupid is not always the question. Because we see, and I said I would talk about it. Malcolm Gladwell, says he was cowed into going along with or not. He was at this panel or whatever several years ago, and he was cowed into not standing up for somebody who said he didn't see why men should be playing women's sports because they're different. But my thought is, of course, how is someone with his amount of money cowed? Not that he's super rich, but what, you're gonna make no money, like, and you have a lot. You have these books, of course. We all read The Tipping Point. And well, I did. I read like 3 of them. I was maybe 14. Anyway, sure, they're fine. Probability is an important thing to understand. And there's not that much that's the yeah. So anyway, sure. But how are you cowed? I mean, panicking sort of in a moment of social pressure, I suppose, and not say anything when it's already clearly a heated subject. Okay. But I feel like if you're, what responsibilities does some guy who wrote books have? I don't know. But obviously, if you're appearing in front of a lot of people, if I'm just on the street acting like an idiot or a coward, and people, don't, a few people might see me, and then they might think, well, if no one else is standing up for whatever, I'll just, walk by it also. And that would just be me, a few people might see me wussing out. But if, you're on TV, a lot of people are going to see that. And it's not a good, if that's really, whatever. it's a difficult subject to talk about. So I suppose I understand that, but nonetheless, um, you know, but I mean, isn't it just crazy? It's crazy. Whatever. Um, it's hard to even talk about. People don't even want to say the words involved. Um, because they carry such a weight of, you know, the you know, all of the stuff involved that you kind of can't help but thinking of all at once. Um, you know, the giving people, you know, pills and doing surgery on them. It's just a strange surgery. It looks to me much of the time. Um, but you know, I grew up, reading the New Scientist magazine, and actually my name's in it twice. Um, when I was 15, but not for doing science. But anyway, um, I just read the New Scientist magazine, so my belief is sort of that you should look at the science, and it didn't. They didn't really do it. They just kind of declared we're going to do this, and I think that's why, you know, the there's conflated sort of a notion that it's sort of good for people in a health sense, which is a pretty narrow sense in terms of do they live longer without like major problems, with the idea that people should be able to be the way they want, which is a hard one to disagree with. But obviously we do in a lot of situations because um, some people want to be things that are very harmful. Um, like a cocaine dealer. You can't just do that. Um, but um, you know, yeah. Anyway, the weed is good. It's not very strong, but it is good. But anyway, um, you know, they just started doing the things on people because you know, yeah, like I said, people look the way they want, but that's not really the province of medicine. I mean, nobody's stopping people who are gluing elf ears on. I mean, or you know, getting septum piercings and such like that. But you don't go to the doctor for a septum piercing. So I don't know why you go to the doctor for looking different, wanting to look different. Um, but that of course applies to any sort of I want larger breasts or um, bigger chin, what have you. I don't know why any of that is a doctor's job, and no one can explain this to me. Um, but anyway, um, so how did we get here? We got here because everyone is isolated, like in the Lord of the Flies. Um, and therefore acting crazy, which is a scary thought because it means that people, if isolated, are very prone to acting crazy. And that means you probably are too. I am too, as I said before. So, um, you know, what do we, what do we do to reach people and communicate that we live in the same place and we share the same, goals, you know, um, we generally, have the same ideas about basic things anyway. Um, Human interaction. Uh, you know, you gotta. Well, I try to wave at people. Not everybody, not wave, but recognize people if you know them, if you see them a lot. Uh, I mean, everyone does that, right? But I try to be out and about. I don't get the food delivered. I just don't understand it. I mean, yes, if you're very stoned or drunk, fine, I guess, fine, but it's very expensive, and also you shouldn't be in that state that often, and it gets to you cold. But anyway, um, right. So you're ordering your takeout food. Um, anyway, it's hard enough to have a conversation with two people and stay on topic, let alone with just yourself. Um, but you know, how did we get here? It's a good question. It's a good question because one can kind of just keep going back to it. How did we get here? How did we get here? Well, we're here. We got here somehow. Right. So they let people just kind of say that, unlike a boob job, well, they first said that people would get estrogen or testosterone because their brain was in the wrong body and they secretly needed it. That was not really, I feel like even that looked into past some brain scan stuff, but I don't know, whatever. As an idea, I don't think it really panned out, but nonetheless, but I believe this was the first I heard of it anyway, many years ago, that people had brains wrong bodies. And it's wrong of me to say they because it's not a category different from the rest of other people. Um, but uh, the idea of someone who has a brain born in the wrong body and they need the opposite sex hormone for their brain to be happy. Uh, you know, yeah, I mean that's an idea. Then it would be a medicine for something that's missing, like lack of pituitary gland, or maybe that's too much to live. I don't know. Um, but you know, but very oddly, it smoothly shifted, and I don't know if the research into that didn't pan out or what exactly, but it smoothly shifted into being, in order to be more congruent with what they want to look like, uh, which is an odd, because that just means look like what they want to look like, and that just so they want to look like it. Um, that started to be the official reasoning, which was the official reasoning as well for puberty blockers. Um, and I don't really see how that makes any sense. Like, again, I said before, where is that? I mean, someone wants to look like it, okay, but if, obviously, if you're like, well, maybe cutting off that disfiguring thing will harm you health wise. I mean, obviously, that's one thing, but, you know, anyway, it's a strange sort of question. Um, but you know, obviously, if you're going to be doing things as a part of, you know, not even just cosmetic medicine, which the category there is a question, but not even just as a part of that sort of separate category, but um, you know, as a part of, I don't know what you would call it, prescriptive or you know, proper medicine. I don't know what else to say, which kind of indicates why cosmetic medicine or whatever you want to say is an odd category because it's kind of an oxymoron. But anyway, proper medicine, um, which means it's covered by insurance and such and so forth. But you know, with the justification that it was how people wanted to look, which they did not look like presently, which was causing them distress. Right, and so you would need to have some idea that this reduced the distress because perhaps they're distressed and fixated on this, but it's not in fact the cause of the distress. This is, uh, you know, it wanted to look like the opposite sex would be then a symptom of some other thing, which I'm certainly not saying it is. It's fun. Everyone wants to do fun things, but anyway, it's like it's like Halloween. It's you know, wow, that's different. It's a very different way to be, uh, and anyway, um, you know, I do think people who you know men who walk around in what most people would take as women's clothing, um, you know, are you know brave and stunning. Um, it's just that there's no you know medical component to that. Like you don't need. I mean, it one thing that's strange is that so to me, you know, taking off all of one's you know hair, you know, facial hair with laser or however they do it, even reducing it, the darkness of it, the thickness of it, you know, I think it helps a lot more and is not, you know, systemically concerning the way that hormone treatments are. And yet that's, you know, but that is part of it, not just as a cosmetic thing, but I don't see how that doesn't come first. That and other things that are not, you know, systemic, because hormones are very important. Um, I had you know, a professor who was very concerned about endocrine disrupting chemicals because hormones are very important, and playing with them is touchy stuff. Um, and you know, really, in comparison to that, burning someone's hair off, or you know, even doing whatever sort of you know non-systemic, just purely surgical. I mean, constructive interventions seem like quite a leap. Um, but you know, interventions for appearance, they would be much less risky. I mean, this clearly still is not, in my view, the province of medicine, but it's just not sensible um, to have this focus on these, you know, prescribing these things that are, I mean, to me, in my view, obviously, the reason that they're prescribed is because they're, you know, easy. It's easy to say to somebody, okay, well, here, take a pill every so often, rather than, okay, well, you know, you want to appear like the opposite sex, and the reasoning we're going with is that that will make you happier, less it will make you not depressed. And okay, well, the first thing we should do is laser off your beard. I mean, that's a bit of a permanent step for people to take right away. Um, but you know, the fact that it's easy to get people to take pills should not be, um, you know, the logic that this operates on. I think that's pretty obvious. Um, you know, the simplest way to cure people's depression is probably pills that make them happy. I mean, there's various reasons we don't do this, because people get addicted to the pills that make them happy. But, well, a slight, consideration here actually is that both estrogen and testosterone, makes people just feel kind of more full of life. I mean, they have different effects on different people, but, generally being, really pouring out the hormones is a sign of, is a good thing. But anyway, yeah, so let's get down to it. Let's get back to it. You know, how did we get here? You know, so Trump won the Republican primary. We can talk about that for a little. He came in and just slapped everyone, which was not surprising to watch in motion. You were just like, yeah, I mean, you tuned in and you weren't like, this doesn't make, he was just, dealing him blows across the face, more or less. I mean, they just, wouldn't even really, like, you're hitting me. I mean, it was just kind of, very strange. That was 2016. You know, uh, the feeling was just, we're the Republicans. I mean, okay, people, Jeb was probably the best. I mean, but, don't they have, no one can out-argue Donald Trump here. You all went to Yale and stuff. What did you do at Yale? Just like each other. I mean, it's true that, Trump's, he wheeling and dealing, and yeah, he really did learn to, talk circles around Yale and, Harvard people. Okay. I mean, my theory here actually is both Trump and Biden are very old, right? Well, it's just that, like, people of that age, just, they didn't grow up with TV. They got more practice. It's really hard to beat them. They're very, good at it. But anyhow, he was just dealing them, critical hits, just, and he bumped them all off. And then, so, Hillary won over Bernie, which I like Hillary. She was going to tell us about the UFOs, and I think you could have taken that to the bank. She, but anyway, Bernie, again, I'll say, very old, good at, being a person, I guess. I don't know how else to talk about, to really describe it. Seeming personable, I guess, is a thing people say. So, like that. But, right, so then Hillary lost, and there was the emails and something, but, it wasn't that weird, really. People were kind of just like, of course. And then, the first term was pretty, like, we could just, whatever. That's not what we're talking about. And then he's running in 2020, and then he loses to Biden, which is very funny. And everyone was like, oh, thank God, but also kind of course. You know, and then Biden was great. Well, I mean, obviously, I have problems with a lot of things that were going on under his nominal oversight. But he completely didn't seem, he just was just, he just seems so, like, I'm not even going to begin to think about it. Like, it's just not worth a single, because I don't have, you know, he's knitting his brows together, you know, not worth thinking about. You know, but anyway, you know, so, you know, he loses to Biden. And you know, that was funny. And then in 2024, he's running again, and there was more of a serious effort than before to find somebody stuck in against him, and it did eventually coalesce around Nikki Haley, who got a fair number of votes and won Vermont, which nobody talks about, but I think it will be, hey, this will seem notable in the future because it will be in every textbook, the map, just Vermont, as for Nikki Haley. But, you know, people people are like, oh, Biden should have dropped out. Well, you're the president, okay? If you're not fit to serve another term, you're not fit to serve now. So your choices are drop out right away or run. And if somebody wants you to drop out, their choices are run in the primary against you or don't. That's the only choice if that's what they feel is the case. So anyone who's saying Biden did anything wrong, he's the president. The buck stops with you. You know, no. I mean, you don't do that. So, you know, he didn't do that. You know, and basically, eventually, he was kind of forced to by people saying that they wouldn't support him at the convention or whatever, or I don't know what exactly, but whatever. You know, why didn't they do that earlier? Oh, they didn't know. I mean, it's odd. And then why do it then? Just ride it. Whatever. Like people watch the debates. Oh, he was old. You know, whatever. I hope maybe he'll do better next time. Or if you're gonna do it, why do it then? Like, you know, oh, she's gonna have more debates. I mean, whatever. I don't know. You could talk about these stupid questions forever. But he wasn't gonna do it himself. So we can dismiss everything of that nature. And, you know, I think the real question is why did nobody, you know, run against him? Be a sign of weakness, I guess, but also, you know, maybe a real debate would have, you know, would have been indicative of if there was a problem or if, you know, personally, I don't think there was, actually. Personally, I think he just was like, I can't, like, is this even worth it? This, like, I just can't, I don't know, whatever. Right. But, you know, and there was a moment on the Republican side where it was looking a slightly bit shaky for Trump. And, you know, it was a low point of polling or whatever. And, you know, people were maybe like, and a lot of people hadn't committed yet. These conservative, you know, people who call themselves that anyway. And, you know, but then around December of that year, they kind of all decided to commit at the same time. And that was really pathetic. Because if they had all gone, like, come on, really, again, it's sad. But anyway, because it's not, you know, it's not, oh, how could they, exactly. But come on, none of you could take it from him, really, really. But anyway, um, that's the question. Uh, so, you know, and then it was Ms. Harris on the Democratic side, who, you're the vice president. If the president pulls out or has to, well, you stand up. So she did. And, obviously, I think really also just had kind of adopted his we're not going to talk about some things thing. And she really didn't. And she basically, they just didn't respond to the whole, prisoners thing, which was I mean, I saw the ads. I think everyone saw those ads. But, uh, you know, she just kind of didn't really deal with it. And supposedly Bill Clinton was like, you got to deal with it. But nobody dealt with it. And what does that mean? It just means I don't know. I mean, that's the question, right? Because people don't want to say yes, but if you don't want to say yes, what? But whatever. Um, you know. So, uh, you know, that's that's how we got to there. Um, and then Trump won. And then here we are. Um, right. So I think that by um, talking to people through this admittedly strange means, um, maybe I will have some more ideas because, I could keep saying, how did we get here? What could I have done anything? I, as an individual, what if I just started writing madly across the internet about things earlier? Because, hey, I probably could have when I was 15. But obviously, you don't see a lot of things coming. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It does all sort of remind me of being in, well, fourth grade, I guess. And there was, American Idiot. And, you know, yeah, I mean, what else? I guess he was right, right? What did he call it? Um, I'm not even really making sense anymore. I know that. I know that. I'm not blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, this is, it's tough. It's tough alone. But anyway, um, you know, uh, anyway, um, you know, how are we gonna get things back on track? Are we stupid or are they stupid? Um, I think they're stupid. Or um, after things, some people are after things for themselves. Um, which I think people do a lot of. They miss a lot of things when they kind of assume that everything is for money somehow. Sometimes people are doing things for things other than money, which, you know, people are like power, but like, I guess, but like also freaky stuff. Um, which, like, you know, kind of touches on both of the how did we get here parts. Like, because obviously there's the question of the situation, not Trump. There's this the that situation. Um, a situation which I will not miscall, which I will not name, dare not name. I forget what that is, but anyway, um, yeah. So that situation, uh, shoot, what was I saying? Literally, what did I say? Like, hold on a second. What touches on both situations? Oh yeah, like freak stuff. But like, like, yeah, obviously freak stuff is kind of a question there. And there's a lot of questions in that general domain of like freak stuff on the internet because like to this day, and as far as I'm aware, like up to and including right now, um, if you like search like random animals or like Pokemon or characters and things, you will get like DeviantArt type results in like regular Google, and like Safe Search doesn't even seem to like deal with this. Um, and it's not like on weird websites. It's like on DeviantArt, and I'm like, why am I seeing this? Because it's on the like not like 18 plus section of DeviantArt. Okay. And it's like like really like just weird, of course. Um, you know, but I know more than one person who has stories of seeing things like that, and seeing just like one like random thing about some completely random, like you know what I mean, right? Like what balloons are like, what whatever, and like just completely being like what, and like thinking about it like a ton, and like of course we know that there's so much stuff like that, like you can't go on like that stuff, and just to laugh is too much. It's scary. But people, they'd see one. I mean, it didn't used to be so whatever before, and you see one thing, you just like thinking about it, like what the hell, and then like obviously that kind of makes people think about things a certain way. Um, you know, so obviously the people who are making these arts are getting more visibility than I would think Google would, for business reasons, want to give them, because certainly it doesn't make me want to do. Uh, I mean, I used to Google search Pokemon a lot as a kid and scroll through all the images, and it was like cool art of Mewtwo and stuff. But like now it's like weird art of Mewtwo. But anyway, um, so why is that happening? Who knows? Um, Maybe I just get it from looking at other freaky stuff, but that's still not fair. Like if someone comes into my house and Googles something, they'll get freaky stuff just because I'm a freak. Well, I'm not like that, but whatever. Anyway, this is getting too. I'm saying too much. But anyway, um, you know, how do we get back to normal? We need new people, like, and it's weird because if you just talk to like random people that you meet, um, like they will mostly agree with you on like we should uh you know do good things and that men and women are different and that um you know that putting it up the butt is like weird. um I mean, I don't like, will they just say this because like it'd be weird to like defend, but I don't know, whatever. Anyway, um uh that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how did we get, well, maybe that's part of it. But anyway, how did we get here? Um yeah, I don't know. How I got here is yeah, just kind of hiding from things. I don't know. I haven't been like I don't do normal like a normal like job, so I don't have like any, I never have to go to a training session or anything like that. Like I don't actually know like what any of that stuff is like. It's too crazy, and I would probably just rather go live in the woods or something. Um, uh, which, well, probably not. The woods. I mean, it's scary in the woods. But like, whatever. I would just do whatever else. Like I can't do that. But whatever. Um, I've never been able to do a single freaking like thing like that, regardless of the nature of it. So it's not really even like the point. Like whenever there was like if they had like an information presentation with like snacks, I would just like eat them like the whole time. Like I would not take a polite amount of snacks. I would like go back for more. Just hated those things. Well, anyway, um, you know, yeah, I went through a period in college where I would just like take them like the food, like it would just be like, do you like, are you good? Like, can I take this? And usually they'd be like, sure. Like I don't know, like do they give me just one, and then you like walk out with the tray of salami. I don't know. It's very fun, but anyway, um, you know, what am I even talking about? How did we get here? Um, yeah, we got here the hard way. I don't know. So people went crazy at the same time because of phones, because nobody sees each other or talks to each other. So will people get bored of phones? Um, that's really the question, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I kind of did. Like I was like looking at everything on it, and then I just kind of was like, and my eyes got a little worse, and then I just like, I don't know. I'd rather have a book. Um, like most things, anyway. I mean, obviously, I like read the freaking news on it while I'm like sitting wherever, but like, I don't know. I just don't. I don't like. I don't get it. I don't really get what people are doing. I never made an Instagram. I never had a Facebook. Well, I did, but people just like. Well, I deleted it so people would stop wishing me happy birthday, and that would like be like the only thing I ever used it for. Is you gotta respond to that or something. I was like, stop fucking talking to me. But anyway, like, no, I never had an Instagram. I don't know. Is that what people are looking at? Videos? I don't know. I like never watched like a YouTuber. I watched some like Jenny Nicholson videos. Those were funny. Anyway, yeah, like, um, right. So this is this is me trying to kind of be like that, where like I just kind of talk about the problems with things. I mean, I have ideas. It's just you would have to vote for like different people. Um, I don't know. It's like everyone. Like everyone is nuts. I mean, it's weird. Whatever. And you kind of get this like, how long can this go on? Like, am I gonna like is some like crazy person gonna attack me? I don't know. Uh, I think people are being affected in subtle ways. When people are just pissed off, they certainly it's difficult to really want to do anything. And then I think that means the economy gets bad. And then often that means that whoever is in charge gets changed. And it's sort of a distributed sort of strike of people just not really trying that hard, And I feel like that's sort of what's going on right now, for better or for worse, because it makes a lot of things annoying in little ways. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty important to me that we not be in this situation anymore. Um, yeah, so anyway, I guess I'll try to do this once a week. This has been fun. I wish someone was here with me and I didn't have to talk for all of this time by myself, which is really a lot of work. And my throat hurts. Um, good night.